What we can deal with is what's happening in our food system, what's happening in our environment, what's going on in our society. And joining us for the next 40 minutes or so before John McAfee joins us in studio to talk about a host of issues are these stories that I have that Ben Fuchs wants to go over. Roundup and glyphosate toxically have been grossly underestimated. That's number one. Glyphosate toxicity, it's in almost all water, including well water, massively causing cancer increases. You name it. It's worse than fluoride, folks. You got to get it out of your water. By the way, product placement. We do sell the Pure Pro 1 best gravity-fed filter at the lowest price out there with promo code WATER. Supports the broadcast. But more importantly, glyphosates fry your endocrine system, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Massive cancer, bladder cancer, kidney cancer, liver cancer. You've got to filter your water, folks. Or get it from deep, deep, deep volcanic wells where the water's, hundreds of thousands of years old, like out of Arkansas. I do get bottled water out of Arkansas that I really like because it tastes so good with the natural minerals. But, listen, you care about your kids, folks. You've got to drink filtered water. You got to not drink the iced tea at the restaurant. You got to filter your shower water because you get more through that than you do sometimes drinking water through your largest organ, the skin. We're going to talk about that. Cancer rates expected to increase 75%. That's a new study out. It's already gone up massively. Some cancers up 4,000, 5,000. Pediatric up 10,000%. Study links BPA and breast cancer tumor growth. Absolutely. It is a estrogen mimicker and grows those fast. Pesticide turns male frogs into females. We're going to be breaking that down. Study ADHD linked to pesticide exposure, including fluoride. So we're going to be getting into probiotics, marketing employer, miracle cure with pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Who knows more about a lot of stuff than even a lot of medical doctors and scientists we have on. And he's one of the owners of one of the biggest compounding pharmacies in Colorado, the inventor and developer of many of the most popular supplements out there. Works a lot with InfoWarsHealth.com with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the stuff with Dr. Corey Gold, the Polymerse Plus that I promote, InfoWarsLife.com. Just pointing out that this helps fund the operation by promoting these great products. I didn't plug anything last hour. That's how we fund ourselves. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, let's dive in to something we can do something about. This news we're talking about with the glyphosates, fluoride, and so much more.
Thanks, Alex. You're right on, 100%. I call it locus of control. Locus of control is where we can control. And where we can control is in terms of the food we're eating, the water we're drinking, what we're putting into our body via supplements. And I want to commend you for really taking the bull by the horns in this whole issue with your supplements and really participating and diving in full force into the idea of using supplements and taking care of your body from a physical perspective so that you can fight the New World Order on a psychological and a mental.
I mean, what you've helped me do and what others have done, like Ben Fuchs, who I know you know, and all those folks, it is changing my life. I had just let myself rot for 15 years.
Yeah, because there's so many things we can do. It's really easy because it's in our face, all the horrible things that are going on in terms of the New World Order and our corrupt political system, our corrupt governmental system, Obamacare, et cetera. It's really easy to forget that we do have a certain element of control. And that is where using nutritional supplements comes in. And that's where making better food choices comes in. And that's where not participating, as I've said so many times, not participating in the corporate swill, in eating the food they want us to eat, drinking the drinks they want us to eat, taking the drugs they want us to take. But it's not enough just to say I'm not going to eat the food and drink the water and take the drugs. You got to figure out a way to be proactive, and that's where water filtration comes in. Your point is so well taken. Our bodies are 60 to 70% water, and if you're drinking toxic, trashed out, fluoride-ridden, chlorine-filled water, not to mention all the pesticides that go into the water.
Fish and turtles die in tap water.
And not only that, they're becoming feminized. They're becoming their sexuality is disappearing. That's a whole another topic.
Are you against tranny turtles?
I try not to pick on tranny turtles, actually.
Well, exactly. It's not even about that. It's that it's being unnaturally done. It's happening to the animals.
And there are frogs that are being born with multiple, as you say, with multiple genders or with no gender. Infertility in animals is an epidemic, and infertility in the human race is an epidemic as well. Why? Partially because of all the estrogenic, gender bending chemicals that are put in the water. The Roundup, the glyphosate, that is That's a toxin for sure. That'll kill you for sure. But even worse, it messes up your endocrine system. It messes up your a man's ability to be a man, a woman's ability to be a woman, and the ability of the two to meet and form babies, to conceive. This is why infertility is such a big problem. This is why sperm counts are dropping. This is why people just can't get pregnant. It's like the human race is dying because of this. What are we thinking? What is the government thinking? What is the government officials, New World Order proponents still have to drink the water. They still got to drink the air, breathe the air. What are these people thinking? They're killing themselves as well as killing us.
Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, Bright Side radio show right before mine each day on GCNlive.com. We're putting up on screen everything you're saying. My guys just search it and throw it on screen. USA Today, tap water, contaminant, castrates frogs. When I cover this, they have Huffington Post say I'm anti-gay because this is actually confusing the sexuality of mammals across the board. No, I'm not anti-anybody. The point is they're artificially messing with our biology, and they don't want us to know about it. We'll be right back. Stay there. We'll talk about it. Plus, it gives you cancer and kills you. What he was starting to get into, what is in the food, what is in the water, what is going on, and the fact that no fish, no frogs, no turtles will live in tap water that you drink. And they call it a cost-benefit analysis to clean the water in our mass civilization that they know in the statistics, they've known since the 50s, it's going to increase bladder cancer, kidney cancer. And it's true, if you didn't have clean water, which is always a problem for civilization, that would cause even more death. You'd live to be probably 35 on average. And the advent of clean water and things by the 20s and 30s, the statistics are clear, made disease go way down. Vaccines came in the 40s. You can look at these graphs worldwide, and disease actually went back up a little bit, but not to previous levels. But I digress with pharmacist Ben Fuchs, Alex Jones here, back live. The big issue is the glyphosate Roundup. And this, for me, the more I study, is even worse than fluoride. And the real reason now that I will not drink anything that's had tap water, because I used to go to restaurants and still drink it and still get iced tea, I neurotically will not do it now. I will neurotically not do it. I'm seeing more and more restaurants, because folks won't do this, I'm seeing more and more restaurants who are saying, we have filtered water, we have fluoride-free water, because folks want it. So I think restaurants should have a sign and just say, hey, we filter our water. And I would go there, like Hop Dottie's Hamburgers here in town. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, let's get into your points, because you sent me, I guess you sent me 8 of them. 9 of them. Let's run through the 9 stories you want to cover.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the glyphosate, the glyphosate, the Roundup, whole Roundup issue. You know, your point is so important. Fluoride is bad stuff, clearly, but it's an element on the periodic table, and there's some fluoride in your body. There's some role, not necessarily for the kind of fluoride they use, but at least you can make a case for the fact that the fluoride is an element in the body. There ain't no pesticides in the body. That is pure 100% deadly poison. In addition, Alex, to the fact that you're killing things, it's a pesticide. So when it kills things, it's going to kill your probiotics, your good bacteria in your gut. That's where the whole issues with gluten intolerance and digestive issues come in. Digestive health issues come in when you use these kinds of pesticide-laden vegetables. But even more importantly is the whole estrogen issue. You know, we talk about gender bending and birth control. This is all because estrogen, because of these pesticides, which are very similar in chemical structure to the female hormone, or the hormone, the biological hormone estrogen. This is why they cause birth control or infertility. Your birth control pills are estrogen, basically. Estrogen will tell the body not to make a baby. There's several reasons for that, but most importantly, it's because estrogen is a stress hormone. It's a hormone that helps the body handle stresses. So the higher your estrogen levels go, the more insomnia you're going to have, the more anxiety you're going to have, the more fear you're going to have, the more suppressed your immune system is going to be, the more your cells are going to malfunction, the more likely you're going to be to have fibroid cysts, blood clots, hypertension, and cancer. And this is where these pesticides really wreak havoc on the human biological system. In addition to the fact that they're gender benders, in addition to the fact that they'll keep you from being able to conceive and cause infertility, they will maximize, accelerate, and amplify the body's stress response. And you know as well as I do, we have an epidemic of anxiety and stress in this country, and it's largely because of chemicals in the water and in the food supply.
And by the way, we're putting mainline studies up, mainstream news. This is not even debated that the anxiety epidemic is glyphosate. It's not even debated that they have these estrogen-dependent cancers in the women, and that's why we lead the world in breast cancer. But they're expanding the use of the Monsanto Roundup. I mean, these people are literal demons.
And on top of all of that, when a plant is given pesticides, it doesn't have to make its own natural pesticides. Plants make their own pesticides, you know, and these plant pesticides we call phytonutrients, plant nutrients, flavonoids and carotenes and accessory nutrients that aren't vitamins and minerals necessarily, but are very valuable for human health. Well, when a plant has pesticides or is given pesticides, it doesn't have to make these substances which function as natural pesticides and also function as nutrients for us, which means the plants that are given the Roundup will be less healthy and have less nutritional value than the plants that are grown without pesticides. This is a hidden problem associated with the use of pesticides. Yeah, you can maybe grow plants without having to worry about pests by using Roundup, but you get less valuable plants from a nutritional standpoint. So from so many angles, from so many perspectives, the use of these toxic materials, these pesticides like Roundup, are destroying the health of humanity. And we could see this everywhere. We could see it in breast cancer. We could see it in insomnia. We could see it in stress. We could see it in degenerative diseases and autoimmune diseases. We can see it from every turn. So, Alex, what the heck are we doing to ourselves? What is this New World Order, this monstrous Leviathan, doing to humanity?
I agree. Incredible question. Let's break it down when we come back. Long segment with pharmacist Ben Fuchs, who is on fire today. And I'm on fire to resist this. And I'm not perfect, but I'm slowly changing my lifestyle. I've probably turned the boat around 60, 70, 80 degrees, and now the boat's turning faster away from we have such over-the-top depleted soils on record. That's not debatable for more than 50 years. But that's another reason we have so much illness in this country. We lead the world in obesity, in cancer, in IQ dropping, in all sorts of neurological disorders. And the globalists are doing it on purpose, on record. The federal government mandated iodine in the salt in the 20s, and IQs went up more than 10 points in the next decade. That's federal studies. You can go to InfoWarsLife.com and check out the Survival Shield and see videos there where we show the news articles, the documents, the studies. Then in the 50s, they said, you know what, take it out. Now, I'm against forced medication, but that was government doing forced medicating through the salt because there was all sorts of thyroid problems and IQ dropping and deformities in children from not having enough iodine in utero. This is all well-known science. What do they then add into the baking powder and all the rest of it? The bromine, the bromide, which goes into the thyroid. I mean, it is a conspiracy, folks. It is a program. And speaking of Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Scientific American, dirt poor have fruits and vegetables become less nutritious. And then they go into the article saying, yes, it's been depleted. Because usually you had hundreds of different trace elements and things and the 90 essentials in the soil. Now they, with the different fertilizers, put 3 different things in there that only the plants need, and then you eat that, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what's going on, and I'm certainly no health guru myself, but anybody can look. If we need to do this video, folks, show me 2 years ago, and then show the videos of me on air now, or photos of me 2 years ago now. I mean, I look like Jabba the Hutt, and I'm still not like some sex symbol or something, but, I mean, I look a lot better. People see me in public, and they go, Alex Jones, man, you looked, overweight and unhealthy. Just, a few years ago when I saw you on the street, man, you look great compared to what I looked like. And I'm telling you, it's the same exercise. I've been doing exercise again for 4 or 5 years trying to get back in shape, but still not eating right, not getting the minerals and stuff. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, the incredible products like the Polymers Plus, it's a healthy energy drink that Dr. Corey Gold developed, available at InfoWarsHealth.com. And then the products I've developed with folks like Dr. Edward Group with the super true nascent iodine that's glycerin-based, organic glycerin-based from Germany. We try to get everything from America, but you can't get organic glycerin in America. We haven't been able to do it yet. Only glycerin from Germany is the only place you can get it certified. And it turns blue on paper, not black or red, like so-called nascent iodine out there that really isn't nascent iodine from what labs have looked at it and told us. I'm not knocking it. You still need it. It just tastes like rocket fuel and doesn't agree with my stomach. This survival shield that we have is proprietary, double strength, half the cost of the leading competitor. Because there's one other company, and that's where we get it from, that's nobody even knows who they are, that puts this out, and that's how we bought a contract for years to be exclusive, to put out our brand of it. They sell it half the size, double the cost. That's why I can say double the size, half the cost. I mean, it's double the size, the amount. InfoWarsLife.com, and we will sell out by tomorrow of the Super Male Vitality, available at InfoWarsLife.com, but you can then still pre-order, and it should be in a couple weeks, we're hoping. They're labeling a small batch of it now, and that'll probably sell out by the time it gets here. It's very popular, as word has spread, a real sleeper product. And we fund ourselves by selling high-quality products. A win-win-win. High-quality products that I use and believe in. ProPure, best stainless steel gravity filter out there. I use it. My family uses it. Gets the glyphosates out. Gets the fluoride out. Other gravity-fed filters don't do that. Look at the side-by-side comparisons. InfoWarsStore.com. or InfoWarsLife.com, or InfoWarsHealth.com. All the longevity products discounted. You can get free shipping with auto ship at InfoWarsHealth.com. Sign up, be a distributor, InfoWarsTeam.com. All of our proprietary products, InfoWarsLife.com. The water filters, the books, the videos, the Molon Labe t-shirts, InfoWarsStore.com. This is how we fund ourselves, free market, free association. We appreciate your support. That's how we're expanding in the face of the tyrants. And that's how we're getting the reporters and the films and just reaching more people all the time because of your support. Now, pharmacist Ben Fuchs, we got 12 minutes left in this segment. I am not going to speak. Alex Jones is going to shut up. Right. I'm very fired up this morning. I want you to go through all your points about the glyphosates, the fluoride, what we can do, probiotics, marketing ploy or miracle cure, ADHD linked to pesticide exposure. They now admit fluoride in Time Magazine, lowering IQ, ADHD last month. What is happening? Looks like it's all coming out. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Well, let's start off with this whole idea of epigenetics. You and I have talked about this a lot. We have this idea in science and in medicine that everything comes from the genes. Scientists call it the central dogma. The word dogma means something that you believe without evidence. Religions usually have a dogma, but science has dogmas too. And one of the major dogmas in science is something called the central dogma, which says that everything comes from genetics. This is in the interest of the pharmaceutical companies because then they can come out with drugs that manipulate the genetics. And indeed, if you read the pharmaceutical trade journals, you'll see that this is the great push in terms of medicine, is finding drugs that can actually affect, work with changing the genes or targeting the genes to target specific disease states. However, as it turns out, the central dogma is wrong because there are nutritional factors and lifestyle factors that turn genes on and off. You and I talked about this a couple of months back when we talked about prophylactic mastectomies. Angelina Jolie, for example, had her breast removed because she had a gene that indicated that she may end up with breast cancer, completely ignoring the fact that that gene that causes breast cancer to either come on, to either occur or not occur, is itself turned on by nutritional factors and lifestyle factors. This whole phenomena is known as epigenetics. Epi meaning transcendent to or above. So the key to taking care of yourself, and this is so important because what it means is the idea of epigenetics, what it means is we can take care of ourselves. We don't have to worry about our heredity when it comes to whether you're going to get diabetes or autoimmune disease or, God forbid, cancer, because epigenetics trumps genetics. And that means that we have a locus of control. We can control our epigenetics to an extent where we can't control our genes directly. We can control our genes in a secondary fashion by working with nutrients. Among the most powerful nutritional factors achieve their power via epigenetics, via turning genes on and off. For example, one of my all-time favorite nutrients is selenium. And selenium, as you and I have talked about in the past, is amazingly anti-cancer. Selenium is amazingly anti-mercury, by the way, and anti-radiation as well. And selenium has particular protection against breast cancer and estrogenic diseases as well. So if you're concerned about Roundup and glyphosates and pesticides and gender bending and estrogenic chemicals in the water and in the air, it becomes imperative that you use these nutrients that manipulate the body epigenetically, like selenium. Selenium, of course, is in many of the longevity products, including the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, as well as the Ultimate Selenium. And I noticed, by the way, that your fluoride shield, the fluoride shield has got a really neat ingredient called Shilajit. Shilajit is kind of a tarry resin mineral ingredient that grows that is found in the Himalayas, and so, Shilajit also is very high in selenium as well. So using the fluoride shield is much more than a detox. If I'll give you a plug for the fluoride shield, it's much more than a detox for fluoride. It's a detox for pesticides and all kinds of toxins. The second thing I want to talk about is probiotics. There's some literature out that's indicating that's alluding to the fact that probiotics might be a scam. And indeed, the way probiotics are being marketed by Jamie Lee Curtis and by Dan and Yogurt and by corporate marketers and the corporatocracy, they might be a scam. But a good probiotic supplement is not optional. It is a fundamental part of life. And even though probiotics are not considered to be essential nutrients in terms of the 90 essential nutrients, they're unbelievable importance for good health. It cannot be overestimated. For example, probiotics are one of the key nutritional factors that are involved in detoxifying the body of estrogen and estrogen breakdown products that are associated with cancer. In fact, anybody who is even remotely concerned about breast cancer or reproductive cancers or prostate cancer or testicular cancer, or if a woman is concerned about fibroids or cysts, or if women can't conceive, all of these are linked to problems with estrogen metabolites. Using a probiotic is one of the great and underappreciated nutritional strategies for protecting yourself from estrogen. But when you're using a probiotic supplement, you got to be careful. You can't use Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan and Yogurt nutritional strategies and nutritional products. You've got to use a broad spectrum probiotic, one that has multiple strains of bacteria, 12, 14, 15 different strains of bacteria, and one that has lots of billions of units of bacteria in the order of 10 or 15 or 20 billion units of bacteria, in addition to eating fermented food, things like kefir and miso. Tempeh, kimchi, anything fermented is going to provide you with probiotics. In addition to probiotics helping you process toxic estrogen, probiotics help you process cholesterol. They help you process blood fats. Probiotics make vitamins, like the B vitamins, for example, are produced by good bacteria. These probiotics, by the way, are supposed to be implanted in our gut as we pass through the birth canal, but we know today 30% of babies are born cesarean. If you're born cesarean or your baby was born cesarean, it becomes extra important that they focus on getting a good probiotic supplement as well as eating fermented foods. If a baby was not breastfed long enough, this can have a negative impact on probiotics also. If your baby wasn't breastfed long enough, your baby wasn't breastfed at all, you may notice that your baby is colicky. Colicky comes from the word colon. This is why babies get colicky, is because they have colon issues. Colon issues are almost always associated with problems with probiotics. So if you have a baby that has eczema, if you have a baby that has pimples or breakouts, if you have a baby that's colicky or has constipation, all of these are very common in babies. Get that baby.
My grandmother, and I know I'm interrupting, but my grandmother kept my father so clean, her firstborn, that the black nanny, he was getting sick a lot and having colic and things. And by the time he was like 2, she said, listen, David's going to die, to quote her. David's going to end up getting sick and dying if you don't give him Hindu tea. And she snuck later and admitted he got really healthy. And it was basically a probiotic of boiled chicken crap. And he basically didn't get sick after she started giving him boiled chicken crap, which is what, I mean, imagine blacks coming from slavery and all that. They had to have their own medicine. They knew what to do. Well, it's the same thing right there.
Manure has been highly prized for centuries until we got the NPK fertilizers. Manure was incredibly prized. A precious commodity was manure. Manure is loaded with all kinds of important bacteria, good bacteria for growing plants and minerals.
Yeah, and she had to sneak and give it to him.
Yeah, so, a lot of times the old-time remedies, they trump the new-time remedies and the pharmaceutical remedies a lot of the times. All right, so anyway, I want to talk also about SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. We talked earlier about how estrogens are anxiety-promoting, stress management hormones. Well, guess what? A lot of folks don't realize serotonin is the same way. We have been flooded with misinformation about serotonin being a happy hormone and being a hormone that helps improve your mood, et cetera. Everybody wants to make sure that their serotonin levels are high. Serotonin is, like estrogen, a stress management hormone. It is a vigilance hormone. It's an alertness hormone. And yes, it's important. It's clearly important. But what it's important for is helping the body handle the ups and downs, the vicissitudes, the survival threats that are part of being alive. And you need to have a certain amount of serotonin. However, you do not want to poison your serotonin metabolizing system to the point where you have too much serotonin. When you have elevations in serotonin, that's what the serotonin reuptake inhibitors do. They keep serotonin levels super high, artificially high. You end up with this pro-vigilant state, with this almost paranoia state. And what happens when people take the Prozacs and the Zoloft and the serotonin reuptake inhibitors, what can happen is that they can become paranoid. And that's why you have almost everybody, almost all the people who are doing these school shootings, and the psychiatrists, and the Navy psychiatrist who was doing this, who shot up the Navy base, and people doing these crazy mass murder kinds of things, almost invariably, they're on a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, Alex. It's like a direct link between mass murders, and serotonin.
Oh yeah, when we heard in Austin that a guy like a zombie had just shot a cop for no reason in Walmart, I said he's going to be on those drugs, and you know what, he was.
Yes, it's almost always, Alex. You can almost assume that when there's some ridiculous mass murder, school shooting, crazy out of control behavior, that resting behind it is some kind of serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And what it underscores is the craziness, the utter stupidity, the illogical nature of using pharmacological therapy to deal with psychological issues, to deal with physiological issues that are associated with poisons and toxins and lack of nutrition. We've got this pharmaco-medical model that does not serve us. We've got this pharmaco-medical model that enriches drug companies, that enriches the proponents of the medical model. It enriches the insurance companies. And speaking of the insurance companies and the drug companies being enriched, what do you think Obamacare is about? People, do you think Obamacare is in any way, shape, or form about taking care of your health, with the exception of perhaps major medical and heroic medicine helping heal from
It's
traumatic
openly about turning it all to drugs rather than medicine or real diagnosis. And it's about death panels, and it's about doubling and tripling prices for insurance companies. It is Big Pharma taking over.
That's right, and it's a redistribution of monies. It's a redistribution of wealth. In a classic example of taking money from the people and concentrating it into this corporatocracy, this oligarchy that's made up of elites. And we as human beings, and we as people, and we as citizens have to do something to begin to participate in our own health care. We cannot depend on the government to do it for us. We cannot depend on government-mandated or government-funded or government-authorized insurance companies and a government-authorized medical model to do it. And this is where nutritional supplementation comes in. This is where lifestyle choices come in. This is where not participating and eating the corporate swill comes in, especially when it comes to developing minds and developing bodies like our children. If it's important for us as adults to drive past, not drive through, it's extra important. And while it's easy to be glib about not going to McDonald's and not eating the fast food and not drinking the soda pop, etc., it's difficult to use willpower to do it, because these people who create these kinds of foods, they're smart. They're really smart. They got PhDs in understanding how to manipulate the human brain to get it to do what it needs to get it to do what they want it to do. So what you have to do is you have to protect yourself against these kinds of foods and against these kinds of messages. And the key, the ultimate strategy to protecting yourself from these kinds of messages and these kinds of foods, to weaning yourself away from the corporate swill without using willpower, which is difficult to do, is to get yourself on a nutritional supplement program. I know I've been saying this for years. I will continue to say it. The letters I've gotten, what I've seen in my own personal life, as well as in the lives of my patients and my friends and my family, to get yourself on a nutritional supplement program will change your life, and it will change your life quickly. It will allow you to withstand the sugar cravings. It will allow you to withstand the salt cravings. It will allow you to withstand the cravings for the snack foods and the junk foods without willpower. And this is one of the reasons why people lose weight, and they lose weight quickly when they get themselves on. This is the key to the revolution.
Program. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, stay with us. Customers are now running on banks in Crimea. That's being reported by the Associated Press. And if you go down, lower into drudgereport.com, There is a report on there dealing with the TSA agents in the middle column to eyeball bus passengers during security exercise. And this is a Paul Joseph Watson article. We told you this was coming because I saw him on C-SPAN back in 2002 say, one day you'll have to go through us to get a job, any job. We're going to run everything. We're going to be the federal police force. And we're going to be at bus terminals, the trains, and then the roads, and then at internal checkpoints. And they're doing it. They've got TSA ads where it shows them at the mall and, you know, football games. And a federal judge ruled last year that they have to have TSA at proms in New Mexico for safety, because you have a right to be surveilled and groped. You have a right to be safe, and you have to have TSA there. It's a right to be a slave. Pharmacist Ben Fuchs is our guest, host of the GCN radio network, right before us every day, right here on GCNlive.com. Again, I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com if you just joined us. I wanted to shift gears now, Ben. Obama admin trouts out angry mom to push Obamacare. And it says, I'll just wait here until you get covered. And they have these videos where it's bossy parents. I mean, this is literally trying to intimidate us to go sign up for this massive screw job. And then now the feminist control freaks, including Michelle Obama, say they want to ban the word bossy because it's associated with women. What about associated with control freaks? I mean, these people are not liberals, Ben. I know you well. We've hung out quite a bit. I would consider you a liberal. And there are a lot of people that really are liberals who are not these people. What would you call these people? I mean, they're a bunch of...
Twisted. I call them twisted and perverted, and I don't even know if they're human beings, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if they have humanity, because I don't know how people can do that to other people. I don't know how anybody can live with themselves understanding that they're poisoning their fellow man. I don't know how people can live with themselves knowing that they're using prescription drugs when people are sick and starving from lack of nutrition and lack of food. You know, you probably saw this article that was all over the news about the kid who couldn't get his drugs, and now all of a sudden the government or the drug companies have decided to let the child, the poor baby, have his drugs. Have you heard about this?
Oh, yeah, so everyone's clamoring like the Christmas toy.
Right, exactly. There's this messaging that's put out that drugs are going to save us, that the government and the medical model, the government-authorized pharmacomedical model is our saviors. And I'm telling you this as a healthcare professional, as somebody who's been studying medicine now for pushing 30 years, this is not how the body works, and it's not that complicated. The human body needs water, it needs food, and it needs oxygen, and it needs to have an ability to clear its poisons out. And that's pretty much it, folks. There's no doctors that are required. There's no drugs that can do anything about it. But the good news is we can take care of it ourselves by getting on a good nutritional supplement program, by making sure we're eating a lot less food and we're not participating in the corporate swill, as I've been saying, making sure you're doing something as simple as deep breathing, making sure that you're doing something as simple as oxygenating and blowing carbon dioxide out.
Deep breathing, clean water, moderate exercise.
It's not that hard. It's not that complicated, and you don't need Obamacare, and we don't need a nanny state infantilizing us and telling us that they know what's best for us.
I want to ask you, this is a war on women, all these estrogen mimickers, but it's really a war on men. I want to get your take on the war on men, because it's undoubtedly going on. They admit they're doing it. Why are they so scared of men? With pharmacist Ben Fuchs. And then John McAfee in studio for an hour and a half. We're doing extra overdrive today on this Thursday edition segment. But pharmacist Ben Fuchs, the latest March issue of InfoWars magazine, that, by the way, we sell at cost, has John Wayne on the cover, and it says the war on men. And, I mean, it's just undoubted now. They're saying just the classical male model is racist, anti-woman, being a man is bad. We've got to eradicate masculinity. Why does the establishment want to do that?
Let me tell you why. Testosterone, male hormones, are not just for men. They're building hormones. They're strength hormones. They're vitality hormones. They're anti-aging hormones. They're growth and repair hormones. We are supposed to be like lions, Alex, and testosterone is the hormone of lions. Instead of lions, we become like pufferfish. We become slothful, and this is what we become. We're not lean, mean fighting machines. We're like big, fat gorillas in the zoo that have big bellies and big breasts. Males, I'm talking about. The reason we have this war on men is not so much a war on men as much as it's a war on anabolism. Anabolism is the fancy word for building and growth and repair.
It's a war on vigor.
It's a war on vigor, exactly. We become domesticated. Instead of being lions in the jungle, we're like big fat tabby cats.
Well, it's like hyenas, they say, is the only animal that has testosterone in the milk.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that,
yeah.
But I can see why. Testosterone is the hormone of vigor and strength. So as much as it's a hormone, as much as there's a war against masculinity, it's really a war on our vigor and on our strength and on, I believe, our ability to resist this new world order, to resist this globalist hegemonic, if that's the right word, hegemon. It's to reduce our ability to resist the monster, the Leviathan. So it's not so much a war on men, although that is occurring. It's a war on our health and on our vigor.
It's a war on independence. It's a war on liberty. It's a war on common sense, consciousness. It's a war on free will. It's
a chemical war. It's chemical warfare, literally, but it's the most chemical warfare, the most insidious kind, because it's biochemical warfare. It's the kind of chemical warfare that affects our biochemistry. And this is where the whole idea of epigenetics comes from. This is why they don't want us to know about epigenetics. This is why you keep hearing about genetics. They don't want you to know that you have control over how
they don't know men are supposed to be incredibly energetic and feel crazed all the time. My grandfathers were like me. And people think I'm a weirdo nowadays because I'm crazed. I'm just a barbarian Texan. I mean, we're supposed to be barbarians.
That's how we built the frontier. That's how we built the country. You know, we didn't build the country by sitting on our butts watching TV. We built the country by chopping wood and going out there and exploring and seeing what was on the other side of the forest. And all of this is regulated by the hormone testosterone. This is the hormone for men and for women. Not just for men. You know, we think of it as a male hormone, but it's not just a male hormone. It's also a female
hormone. Is that why
hormone.
women get so crazed when they take our super male vitality?
It could be. I don't know.
Well, it just has a bigger effect. Like it's not a plug here at the end, but I want to get your analysis of this. I mean, I know you like this.
It's an awesome product. It's an awesome product.
It's Tribulus.
Yeah, it's Tribulus, and it's got the ashwagandha.
Suma,
It has herbs that are called adaptogenic herbs, and these are herbs that help you adapt to the environment. There's no medicines that are adaptogenic. Only nutrients and herbs are adaptogenic. And an adaptogenic herb or adaptogenic nutrient is a nutrient that pulls you up when you need to be pulled up, or pulls you down when you need to be pulled down. The same ashwagandha. It will pull you up if you need to be pulled up. It'll pull you down if you need to be pulled down.
Well, that's what everybody I know, these guys that were real irritable, they said it smooths them out.
It smooths you out. This is what an adaptogen does. So making sure you're on a nutritional supplement program, making sure you're taking care of the epigenetic component of genetics.
Plug your website.
BrightSideBen.com. And let me plug Doc Wallach's new book, Epigenetics. If you're interested in reading a good book, Epigenetics by Doc
I want him on. I want to carry that book. We're going to get Wallach on with his book as soon as we're carrying it. God bless you, Ben Fuchs. Great job. Epigenetics is key.